What up, man? Welcome to Pet in the Post. It's your boy, the pettiest Laker fan, and I'm joined by it's a special occasion tonight because we got New York in the house right now. What's up, Tony? How you doing?
I'm chilling, man. Hey, we didn't get the W, but it's all right though. It's preseason. It's fine.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, Cam looking good. Uh, but let's go ahead and get into it, man. Tell what you do here, and then we'll start talking about the game a bit.
Sure. So people probably recognize me from a couple companies ago when I was working with Complex. Just doing a lot of video content for them. And then I pivoted over to a sneaker startup called Soul Savvy. And then now I'm just a free agent. Just working with different athletes and trying to help them build their YouTube channel. So I've been all over the place, but one thing's constant is video content. I keep
Yeah.
creating.
Hey man, and I've already told you this, off live, but man, I'm a really big fan of your content, man. Uh, there's been some sneakers that I was like, those were cool, and then after I watched your video, they were awesome.
I appreciate it,
You know,
man.
man. So keep doing what you're doing, man. How you feeling about your squad though, so far?
You know what? I'm impressed, man. Everybody was down to Ben Simmons, but what can you say? The stats look pretty good. He was aggressive. I think that was the most important eye test. Being
Mm-hmm.
aggressive, right? Not being afraid to shoot. Biggest criticism he's been getting, I don't know, since he left Philly.
Yeah.
I mean, even when he was with Philly, they were just saying he's so scared to shoot. But I like his aggressiveness, and I think this is going to be a big comeback season for Ben.
Yeah, I want to say that, but I've said that a couple times myself because I am I'm a big fan of Ben Simmons. I thought, a lot of the criticisms that he got is like people trying to say that he can't hoop. Without a jump shot, he was an all-star. So that should let you know. You know what I mean? He's a first team all defense type of guy, even without a jump shot. If he never becomes a better player and is just as good as he was, he still is an all-star. So to me, I think it's just gonna be like I have to see it, but I want to believe it. Like I'm all I need is like one actual regular season game, and I'm like, Ben's back, baby.
Yeah, I get it, man. Look, again, like I said, it's only a preseason game, so we don't know, right? Until the season actually starts. I don't know. Maybe he might shell up again, but like I want to give him the benefit of the doubt because look, when you hit rock bottom, only way is up. So it's kind of
That's
like,
true.
what's
Yeah, I
up?
mean, he can't give you less than he's been giving you. That's the main thing. As long as he's healthy, even if he's out there playing 20 minutes, 10 minutes, I'm just saying like on at the worst case scenario, he's still giving you more than he has the last couple years. So I'm optimistic about it, and I'm very optimistic about my Lakers right now because
Really?
uh yeah, I am because you have to realize that today they're trying stuff out. We've already seen like they already have lineups that they know for the playoffs. The only thing that's not in that is what Dennis Schroeder. You know what I mean? And if Vincent can't throw, a ball in, a ball in the ocean or whatever, we still have like other options to go to. To replace Dennis Schroeder. Yeah, no one's gonna be by themselves as good as Dennis Schroeder was that we replaced him with. Like, but I just feel
I can't tell if I'm frozen or if you're frozen. Is it my connection? Is it? Hmm. I don't think it's me. Is it me? No. All right. Well, since I think this is still going live, so I'm just going to keep talking about what I saw today while Petty's Laker fan makes his way back into the frozen live stream. Oh, I guess I am. So, all right. So I guess I'll just run the show now. So, uh, Petty's Laker fan said that he is very optimistic about the Lakers. I actually, I don't know, I have my doubts, man. They had, I don't know, a double digit lead, and then all of a sudden it gets cut down to, I don't know, just single digits. And then even up to like 3 points at the end. So now, granted, like the last quarter, it was like experimentation. It was just clearing out the benches. Um, so that doesn't really count. But all the damage was done cutting down the lead during I want to say like the beginning of the third quarter. So, what do we think about that, huh? I don't know. I have my doubts, but I will say I am supporting Demoy Hodge, number 55 on the Lakers, because I built a special bond with him this summer when I traveled with him to the British Virgin Islands. He is the first player from the BVI. I don't think you guys understand how difficult that is. The BVI has, I don't know, I think a population of what, 30,000 people? I think I Googled this, but in Alaska, they have a population of 15,000 people. So Eskimos, we're talking about Eskimos, right? In Alaska, 15,000 people. You double that, and that's how many people are in the British Virgin Islands, which is still very, very little. I'm in New York City. We have millions of people in this tiny island. So you just think about how small 30,000 people is. So for him to make it into the association where there's only couple hundred players, that is very impressive. Now, granted, he is on a two-way contract, so he has a very, very, I don't know, uphill stream to swim. But positive energy. He's in a great organization. He's surrounded by great veterans. So hopefully he can, pick up some knowledge and really, really put into work because you got to be ready when your number is called. Like tonight, right? His number was called, but they weren't really. Oh, here we go. I was trying to hold
Yo,
it down. I
nah,
was
man,
holding it down for
you
you,
did,
man.
bro. So, yo, I'm sorry, y'all. I don't know what's happening. I have not had internet issues, and I want to say I can't think of the last time I had internet issues. But the second that we just decided to cook for y'all, you know what I'm saying, and give y'all some of this good basketball content, they wanna start tripping. So I'm sorry about that, y'all. That is hilarious.
Don't even worry about it, man. That's why I'm co-hosting with you, man. Come
Yeah,
on.
bro. Hey, I had to lob it up to you
Hey, man.
because what was that?
You get that. Ah.
Bet. So where did you leave it off at?
Okay, so I was basically saying you were optimistic about the Lakers.
Yeah,
I said I have my doubts because you guys had a double-digit lead early, and then we cut it down quick, and you guys
yeah.
still had your starters in. So I'm like, all right, something
You,
ain't
you,
right.
yeah, but I want to say this that most of that lead was lost when the starters weren't in. I have questions about our bench. I'll be honest with you that they can keep a lead. So I have issues like I'm with like anytime Anthony Davis is not on the court, I have concerns if the Lakers can keep a lead. I know we're going to be able to score a lot of points this season. I'm like, but can we lock down? Can we defend? So I'm optimistic because of that, because I think we have not only a good squad, because I'm just thinking like, what if we need to just cut it down to 7, 8 people? We still have literally everyone that we made it to the Western Conference with, right? Outside of Lonnie Walker, who
Yeah, yeah,
and Dennis Schroeder. So, and I don't like. I think that those guys were great for us. I mean, Lonnie Walker won us a playoff game, but I don't think that those are going to be the guys that are the reason that if the Lakers are not good, they're not going to be the reason why, right? It'll just be that the West got better, or someone got injured, or we got worse. So that's my idea, of where I think the Lakers are at. So I'm optimistic because right now they're trying new stuff. They're not like it's not like this is the one that you guys played the playoff, lineup. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah, I
Where
get
it's
it.
like, yeah. So that's kind of where I'm at with them. But I understand where you're coming from because that lead disappeared quickly.
That's what I'm saying, and it's not like the Nets are like high firepower.
Yeah,
Like we kind of one of those like grinded out teams.
yeah, yeah,
And also to your point, like Jared Vanderbilt wasn't playing, and he's one of like the better defenders on your team.
yeah. I'm
So
hoping that not anything serious, and it's just like just to be on the safe side.
Right. Right.
But yeah, I know I haven't heard anything. I mean, I know he's out, and man, what's his name was terrible. Yes, in the last game, Cam Reddish, man, I'm hoping we see a better version of Cam going forward, because that I know it was a preseason game, but even for preseason, I'm like, man, he looks like he's about to be out the league based off that last game.
Gosh,
Man,
dang. I mean, look, man, yo, you know, Anthony Edwards said that Cam Reddish was like the toughest guard, like in high school, I think, or was it? Yeah, I think it was high school.
everybody talks about Cam Reddish. Like the people who played against him always talk about Cam Reddish this way. He's a really good defender now from what I've seen, but like it's so weird that exactly what you're saying. So many people have talked about like, hey, I
But you
think
don't
Cam
see it,
Reddish
right,
is,
though?
huh?
But you don't see it though, right?
No, because this is the thing. In the NBA, they're not trying to let no players go. I'm just saying, like they're not trying to let players go to another team, a good player go to another team. So what is it that's missing, that's not translating from the way that people talk about Cam to like what's happening on the court? Like sometimes it's opportunity, but like you got to take advantage of those opportunities when you get them, right? So that is my one concern. We don't really need Cam Reddish. It's kind of like one of those things. If it works out, it works out, and if it doesn't, it doesn't. Um,
I
but
don't know. I kind of think you guys do need Cam Reddish. He's a tall, lanky wing that can knock down the three ball. Is he consistent? That's the question.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I definitely think like so. To me, the person that I think is the X factor this season is D'Angelo Russell. A lot of people kind of looking at me a little bit crazy, but D'Angelo Russell has this like ability that when he's on, he
Yeah.
is just on. Like I don't know if we've lost a game where D'Angelo Russell's gone off. Like maybe one or two games, or if somebody was hurt. But every time that he goes off, you know, like, hey, this is gonna be a tough game for the other team. That's what um, that's what I picked up. But I definitely think that there's a chance that that he could be an X factor if he's good. Though I agree with you. If like he's good, the Lakers are gonna just be ridiculous because it's another guy who can defend a wing and knock down a three ball. But I'm just very skeptical about him just because of that. Not because of like what I've seen, and I don't, not that I don't see flashes, but it's like also those GMs, those people in the front office, the coaches, they seeing more than even I do, and they're watching the tape. And why are they not getting this guy under contract or bringing him back? To me, that just kind of like lets me know that he's kind of not going to be what people think, and he's probably going to be a role player, which is that's not a bad thing. You know, you got to find your role, you know, in the NBA. So
That's kind of crazy. I never seen him get like drafted that high and then like just ride the bench for so long, like with the Hawks, with the Knicks, and then I mean Portland's probably the only team that kind of gave him a chance to like play.
yeah, and he, I think if I'm not mistaken, like people were saying he played like he was solid or decent there, if I remember, because a lot of people were just talking about like him leaving and whatnot. But I'm really not sure about him. Like he's not one of my like favorite players or anything, so I haven't been like really locked in on him. But I just remember watching some footage and seeing like, okay, I see the flashes that people were talking about, and then I'm like, well, if he, what is it that's like, what's missing? You know what I mean? Like, what is the missing
Yo,
ingredient to be like,
whose game does he remind you of?
um, hmm, let me think. That's a good question because if we're talking about now, kind of really like,
His game kind of remind me of T Max,
wow,
but
okay, I can
obviously
see.
T Max way
No,
ahead.
no, but no, I see what you're saying. It's like T Mac's one of those guys where it's like he kind of can always shoot over you. He's a tall
Yeah,
guy, so he can kind of shoot over you no matter where he's on the court. Um, I think I think I see that. I just my issue is this, it's so inconsistent. It's hard for me to be like,
yeah,
oh,
yeah,
I see, but I can see the flashes of T Mac. That's a good comp. That's a good comp because, but I just got to see the ball going more.
I guess you used to call him the broke man's T Mac. I guess.
Hey, broke man secret. Yeah, yeah, I like that. Hey, you guys got. Hey, but you were talking about grinded out, man. I don't know, Bridges, man. He looking like he's special, bro.
I mean, he is the centerpiece for the Nets, so like we got to build around him. I mean, at this point, I like the tandem of him and Cam. Uh, Speaking of the other Cam Thomas was going off tonight. Man, he had the blicky on him. He had the blicky.
That's what I was telling. The first thing I said when we hopped on this stream is I'm like, "Yo, Cam is legit." Let's highlight some. Let's look at some of these comments. He said, "Can't be worse than the beginning of last season." Is this? I'm assuming this is in reference to the Lakers who went 2-10 to start out the season. So that is a valid point. I like the optimism. I really like the
Unless he
optimism.
talking about our season, because we had KD and Kyrie at the beginning of last season. I don't know. I forgot how that went.
Yo, that's crazy because they really were like, "Hey, we're gonna get you guys in the playoffs, but we out." Like what I was seeing before, I'm like, "Oh, maybe they're actually gonna stay." You know what I mean?
Shoot, I thought that too. And
I was like,
then
"Oh, maybe they're gonna stay." You know, maybe they'll decide to stay because they got this. They done carried this team to the playoffs, and then they were like, "Oh, now we out. I'm on the trade."
man, we had all the stars, and now we got Mikal Bridges, which is all right.
Yeah,
Come
I know. I
on.
know it's hard to be excited about Mikal Bridges when you go from like KD Harden and Kyrie Irving.
Yeah.
Man. So I can't really blame you. Do you think that if you got like a vaccinated Kyrie with those other two guys, that not
Bro,
because he's vaccinated, but I'm just saying because of like because he's on court, do you think that you guys do something like
I'm
what
gonna
you
be
saw?
honest. I'm gonna blame Giannis because Giannis stuck his foot underneath Kyrie, sprained his
Mm.
ankle, and man, yeah, that was a series that Katie stepped on the line with his big
Oh
toe.
yeah, yeah. In the second, he didn't have no legs left after that.
Yeah, because Kyrie got hurt earlier in the series because he landed on Giannis's foot.
Yeah, no, I mean
Well, it's
that.
Giannis' fault, bro.
No, that's a good point. That's a good point. I mean, and Katie even said that himself. Didn't he say like he was like a toast liver away from sending them home or whatever? Like he
Yeah,
even said that himself. That's a good point. I totally forgot about that.
yeah,
Man.
man. Yo, he did man, my man Giannis did a Zaza Pachulia, man.
Oh man. We put it up
Yeah,
there next to Zaza.
yeah.
Dang.
Come
That
on,
like next to we're talking about like Jalen Rose levels.
Giannis Pachulia. That's what I'm gonna call him from now on. But Giannis,
Man.
I'm a Giannis fan. I can't even knock him, man. But like, damn, man, he kind of took some of the joy away from the series because you're supposed to have a healthy team against like the Milwaukee Bucks, and when you take out one of our centerpieces like that, it's like it's not even fair at that point. KD got to
Yeah, yeah.
prove everything.
The worst thing, that's why I really don't understand the whole people complaining about the like bubble thing, because the thing that you want is you want all your players healthy. I don't care, like I don't want to win. I don't be like, oh, we were the best team if this guy wasn't injured. I know, you know what I'm saying? Like, but this guy's injured. I don't want to see that. I want to see the best teams playing against each other, healthy and focused on basketball. So like to me, I always find that such a weird debate, because I'm like, that was so like great seeing all the players. Like some players were injured, they had some time to like recoup. Kyrie could have even gone to the bubble if he wanted to. He chose not to, but it's like it's one of those things where, um, well, it's one of those things where like why would you not want to see all the players healthy and stuff like that? Because that's like even you think about like, oh, does what happens to Kawhi, right? If what happens to Kawhi if KD or Clay doesn't get injured, right? He probably doesn't have that championship. They
Yeah,
probably stop. They probably don't compare him to Michael Jordan. You know what I mean?
we compared Kawhi to Michael Jordan. Hold up, I
Yeah.
missed
No,
that.
listen, man. They were the agenda about him because they're trying to. For a long time, they've been trying to find another LeBron. You know what I'm saying? They've been trying to find someone like, oh no, this is the guy, and they tried to do that for Kawhi, and then it kind of boosted him going into Clippers. That's why that rivalry, that conversation was so much about Kawhi. And when they dropped that 3-1 lead, it was such a massive like moment because everyone was betting on this team. You know what I mean? Because you got like Kawhi Jordan, as people are trying to say. But I know that Edwin's gonna come in a little bit later, and he's gonna chime in on the basketball talk. So I want to pivot to sneakers a little bit. There's a lot of really interesting things going on, and I know this is like your some of your expertise. You know what I mean? That beyond just basketball, that's some of your expertise. So I wanted to get your opinions on a couple of things. We'll eventually get to the LeBron 21, but I wanted to know what are some of the interesting sneakers that you're seeing in the performance category, like basketball shoes, that you're excited about or interested in the season?
Um, well, obviously, the Sabrina ones are kind of being like heavily pushed by Nike.
Hmm.
The marketing dollars is through the roof. They said we're gonna take out the Brinks truck and we're gonna push it right in front of your face anytime we can get a chance. So
Yeah.
Sabrina ones, I think is dope because it's a unisex sneaker, so it's kind of like made for both genders, and it's also a dope shape. Uh, this speaks more to like Kobe's legacy because
Mhm.
any new Nike basketball sneaker that comes out that is a low cut, it will always get compared to a Kobe sneaker. And look, man, my defense and my like points every single time somebody says that is a sneaker can only have so many shapes. Like it's
Exactly.
gonna be pointed, it's gonna be sharp. So when people say, "Oh yeah, that just looks like another Kobe," well, duh. Like, bro,
Yeah.
it ain't gonna be
No,
a chunky platform shoe because that's not a basketball shoe.
I 100% agree with you. I think whenever people say that, I push back because one, that's not a diss. First of all, that's not a diss. That's a
That's high
compliment
praise.
because, yeah, that's praise because it's not like they're ripping off the design. It's not the exact same shoe and stuff like that. It's a certain shape that was popularized. He wasn't the first to do it, but he definitely popularized it. And the one thing that like Kobe's legacy beyond just being an athlete was how he tried to push these type of things forward in a way that other athletes weren't concerned about at the time. You know what I mean? And it shows in the way that the his shoes now, even when the Brian estate was not with Nike, the number one worn shoe that season was the Kobe 6. And that, and that right there is like to me. So when I hear people say that, I always push back. I'm like, that's not a diss. That's complimentary. And I really like I've been like really talking about the Sabrina one mainly because not only is it because it's a female athlete and it's a shoe that's for unisex, which is a special territory, but also the colorways, the way that the color blocking on that shoe is
Mhm,
special. Like the toe box where it has like the two different knit colors that it does, the
mhm.
option to do that. I just think that's like something that we haven't seen in a style that like you can kind of see like the different ways that they can mess with that or play with it. I'm just like really excited to see the different colorways and thing that they do. And we actually had an NBA player that wore it at media day, which I thought was really really cool.
Well, I know Mikal Bridges has been constantly wearing them.
Mm,
Last season he was wearing like the PG 6s, but this year he's been wearing the Sabrinas because he's always at the Liberty games in
mm.
Barclays. So it kind of goes hand in hand that he would support Sabrina by rocking her shoes. So that's one of the sneakers. I'm very interested in the Zion threes and the Devin Bookers. Um, those are some good sneakers. I was able to see them both in hand, so I can attest that like they really enhance the technology on it.
Yeah, it was like right at or right before the Nike festival, right? The you were
Yeah,
they had
the
that
Booker ones. Yeah, the World
yeah.
Basketball Festival.
Yeah, that man. One, if you guys haven't checked it out, make sure you check out his video on it because his video is the first one that I checked out when I saw that they were doing press for it. I'm really excited about that shoe from a fashion perspective because I think one thing that's been missing in sports and basketball in general is shoes that translate not just from from on the court but off. There's a lot of shoes that are really cool on court, and then the second you get off court, you would look ridiculous wearing them, right? Because of
Yeah,
the it's so focused on the tech and the and comfort and stuff. And there's space for those shoes too, but like people were Kobe was dropping 80 81 points in shoes with less tech, so it's not.
yeah.
and and that's arguable if you ask some people about the tech that was in the the Jordans and the Nikes and the 90s and stuff, if it's even less, right?
Yeah.
So if he can, if it's a shoe that like you do it and you don't feel like you're on a platform, or you feel like you can actually like hoop and play your game, I'm excited because I can wear it off court too.
Yeah, I think people really, really like to criticize the shoes just because they see like an orange shoe and they're like, "Man, this is they didn't put any effort into it." But I'm like, "Hey, have you seen them in hand yet? Because the details go crazy." I mean, they were flaming Jason Tatum's first sneaker, and then it happened to become one of the best selling Jordans, and like people rock them all the time.
Yeah, why is that? I feel like that's almost been
It's a
like
list of leakers, bro. When people leak the shoes, they take the worst photos. Hey, wait for the official images, man. When they pretty it up, then you're gonna be like, all right, they're not that bad.
that's true, but probably usually the people who are taking these pictures are not in the position where they can do you. They're probably not
Yeah,
take.
yeah,
They're
yeah.
probably not supposed to have those pictures. You know what I'm saying? So they probably pull out their phone real quick and kick it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they be taking a photo in a razor flip phone or some type of. Come on, man.
Man,
Yo,
you are not wrong.
does everyone not have an iPhone at this point? Like, yo, we in 2023, man.
Dude, they got, if you look, Facebook got phones, I mean, pictures, like great photography in your glasses now. You will be able to walk around with glasses on, right?
I'm saying
And
people
take
in
good
prison
pictures.
got iPhones, man. What's up?
The actual iPhones, right?
Yo, did you see that Complex posted the thing that like when they had that Amber alert thing
Yeah.
on the phones and then it went off in jail, so then it kind of like snitched on everybody who had a phone. Did
Yeah.
you see that?
The funniest one was for me, because this one was like something that you would see in the show The Office, was that there was people in the Amish community who ended up getting kicked out of their community because they're not supposed to have any technology, and then everybody's phone started going off, man.
That's hilarious.
Like, tell me that's not something that you would see on like a
Yeah.
comedy on NBC. Like, that's just, you couldn't write that. So
Yo, what's
um
Dwight Schrute's cousin? Is it is
oh,
it
oh, exactly. Mo,
yeah.
yeah. Mo, definitely. Yeah, Mo got kicked out, definitely.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. Yeah, D Book is one. I'm glad you brought that one up because that's the one that I'm probably the most excited about. I'm interested to see because I know that from what I heard, the shoe that they showed, the colorway, that's the All Star one. That's gonna be for All Star. I heard. But I'm interested to hear about what. Maybe I'm not supposed to say that, but I'm interested to know what is the first colorway that's gonna release.
I mean, I would think it was the orange one because like they've kind of showed that one. I
Yeah,
know ebook's been rocking the black one. The black one's kind of like paying tribute to his dog.
yeah.
But those are the only colorways that I've seen
Mm.
online. But I've heard different colorways. I guess I could just say it
Yeah.
because I like. Actually, no. Let me play it PG. Let me be friendly
Yeah,
because
yeah, yeah. Yeah,
hold
let's
on.
talk
I don't want to
afterwards,
get cut
right?
off unplugged. Let me just.
Nah, yeah, yeah. That's what I was saying because that's what I was like. Oh, maybe, but I hope you're right. Hey, I hope you're. I hope I'm not. I hope I'm wrong there because that's how what I had heard, that the orange one was going to be an all star one. Kind of
Well,
like
I guess
how
maybe they drop it on All Star then.
kind of like how they did with how they showed the colorway of the Ja one
Oh yeah,
beforehand, and then it didn't, that colorway didn't drop except for at All Star.
yeah.
Um,
Okay.
which that's like still that's still the rawest color of that shoe, of that Ja one, man.
The Swarovski,
No, the
the scratch,
Grizzly, the
the scratch.
scratch, yeah, scratch one, yeah. But
Yo, I like the reverse scratch, the PE colorway that he wears, the white one with the teal.
tough.
That's my favorite one.
I'm the other pair that I'm really excited about for that. And we should talk a little bit about that too, because I found it very, very interesting. Like, what I'm very interested in what Nike's gonna do with John Morant, like him not actually being on court, because like that's really big on promoting shoes,
Yeah,
for people seeing the shoe. And like, since he's not going to be there for the first half of the season, I remember you talking about online about how he's really like reached the kids. You know what I mean? And I
Yeah.
just wonder if any of that's going to cool off at all with him not no longer being on court with them.
Okay, so this is my thinking, right? Usually when players get a signature shoe and like they start to gear up for the next model, it usually comes out around like this time, right? The
Yeah.
beginning of the season. Because that's like prime time when the season's coming back.
Mhm.
People get excited and they might just do some impulse buying of like brand new sneakers, right? That's why
Yeah.
LeBron's dropping around this time. Zion's gonna drop like soon, maybe like next week or something like that. You got Adidas like dropping Donovan Mitchell's. They're gonna drop soon. So October, November, even like Puma, they're gonna drop the Anthony Edwards ones in December. So like
Mhm.
this time of the year is usually when they drop the new signature shoes. I think that Nike had to delay the Ja twos because of
Mhm.
suspension. Because it's kind of like, yo, he can't market the shoes because he's not playing the first 25 games. So that kind of puts a little wrench in the whole process of things. But I think once he gets back, I wouldn't be surprised if he starts rocking the Ja twos on his first game back.
Wow. I'm surprised you said that. It makes sense. That makes total sense. But I think I would say that like I feel like they haven't fully milked the jaw one because
They
there's been
had,
so
to be
you know what
honest
I mean?
with you, because like, yo, they had a whole rollout plan for this guy, and it's hard to push colorways when like you're constantly in the news for like negative stuff. So it's
Yeah.
kind of like, yo, he got caught with a gun, but yo, we got a new colorway coming out next week.
Yeah.
I'm gonna cop.
You see that?
Nah,
You see they patch? Hey, you see they patched up that the we ain't afraid of the smoke, or what I'm saying, we running up the chimney when it was like they, and
yeah,
that's like that's the thing that kind of it worries me about his line is because I don't want him to lose that energy, but he also does have an image. You know what I'm saying, that he has to be focused on because of the spotlight and the target that he's put on himself. So I'm so fascinated with that aspect of the business. I'm really like hyped. I'm really hyped to see or interested to see how they approach it.
yeah, I think they're gonna definitely have to pivot. Like, yo, don't get me wrong, I love that colorway, the chimney colorway, where he's like, yo, we ain't ducking no smoke, we
Yeah.
climb up the chimney. I wish he could keep that phrase on every single model that comes out, like the
Yeah.
threes and fours, but I just don't see Nike like pushing it because he kind of fucked it up himself, man.
Yeah, no, and that's the really thing that's so different because what I think at this point there's only been 16 or 19 like signature athletes for Nike ever. Um like signature shoes, sorry, signature shoe lines, like their own shoe line. I think I swear it was like between 16 and 20 or something like that. It's very very low.
Right,
Like
men, right? Because I
yeah,
know like okay, I know women had some signature sneaker lines too.
yeah, but like I would just say like it's a very you're in rarefied air, especially
Yeah,
basketball. There's not been a lot of basketball because of
yeah.
before basketball getting a sneaker was like you had to be the next LeBron, you had to be the next Jordan because that was the motto. But now people they're realizing, hey, it don't matter if this person isn't even that good. Hey, give Kyle Kuzma a shoe. People like Kyle Kuzma, they'll buy the shoe. You know what I mean? It's kind of to a degree. You can't just be, you know what I'm saying? You can't be, me and you can't drop a shoe.
Yeah, yeah,
Even
yeah.
though I know I seen you have some sick passes, but you know what I'm saying, they might not rock with it on the court. You know what I'm saying,
Yeah, yeah,
just based off that. So
yeah.
I feel like that is something that's changed, but I don't know I don't want it to I don't want to get away from the fact that like it's really major that he has a sneaker with Nike, which they don't give everybody a sneaker, and it's obvious that this guy's a superstar, but it doesn't like compute to me that he would just you know not messing up one time. That's I mean that's you're gonna young. Like I don't try to sit here and try to act like like I didn't make mistakes at that age or that I would know how
Yeah.
to navigate being a multimillionaire Nike athlete that's loved by all the kids and the future face of the NBA. But you so shortly afterwards, I mean, it's kind of disappointing, man. And he's a role model whether he wants to be or not.
Mm. Let me just ask you this. So
Yeah.
the first time he was holding the phone on IG Live.
Mhm.
Second time his boy was holding the phone on
Mhm.
IG Live. Do you think he knew he was on IG Live the second time?
That's actually that's an interesting point. I mean, I know the guy who had the phone was like, "What are you doing?" And because
Right, right,
immediately
right.
when he showed up on there, he was like, you know what's going on here." Uh, so I think I want to say I do believe so, but wasn't the whole point of the thing because I think what he had was like a lighter or something like that, right? Didn't he was seen with like a gun. Well, that's what
That's
he
it.
says, right? That, hey,
Just
hey,
give me the light and pass the door.
yeah. But for me, I just feel like I wouldn't even want to be on IG Live at that point. I would just because I don't need to, you know what I'm saying? For no reason at all. We good. I've IG lived enough. You know what I mean? I
Yeah,
feel
he
like
said it
at
was
that
a
point,
gun lighter.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what he was saying. It was a gun
That's
lighter.
a good alibi. I ain't gonna lie.
Hey,
I would
yes, hey, that
have
is a
used the
good one.
same one.
That is a good one. That is a good one. That made but it made it more believable to me because it's like if you um you know, it made it more believable to me. Okay, we got my boy here. Let me go ahead, add him to the stage here. I'll introduce you. What up, Edwin?
Hey, how's it going, man? How's it going, guys?
What's
Good,
going
good,
on?
man. We talking a little, talking sneakers right now. Waiting for you to get on here so we can get it, dive a little bit deeper into the Lakers. I want to ask you some questions.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I'm here for it. Let's do it.
Edwin, Tony, Edwin. So
Nice to virtually meet you, Tony. How's it going?
Good man, good man. Are you based out in LA?
Yeah, yeah. I'm here. I'm here in LA right now. That's right.
Okay, you in the crypto center. I see you.
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. I'm literally in the building right now as we
Crypto
speak.
he's
arena.
literally in the building right now. Yeah, yeah. But yeah, no, we were talking a little bit about John Morant. Me and Edwin have gone full. We went full on had a whole pot about that situation. But moving on to there's two things before we get back into basketball. Is I wanted to ask you about what do you I think you were at the event for the for Anthony Edwards, right? Am I correct
Yeah,
in saying that?
yeah.
What were your thoughts on the sneaker? What do you think? What are your initial thoughts on that?
I really really like the sneakers. I mean, I spoke to the designer and I'm gonna drop a video, but like it's currently under embargo until December, which is like kind of nuts.
That's a
Uh,
long time to have a video on
very
lock.
very long time. So like we're out there in September, but they want us to hold it all the way to December. That's fine. Whatever. I gotta
Yeah.
follow the embargoes. So when I went there, they only had one sample of the shoe, and it was a size 9. So I wear a size 9. So I asked the I guess the product manager who was in charge of like I don't know, being a bodyguard for that one
Yeah,
sample.
yeah, making
I was
sure
like,
nobody
"Hey,
steals
I
it.
was like, hey, can I just try this on? Because like, it's my size, and you know, I kind of know how to like, play bend the rules a little bit." He was like, "Yeah, go for it." So I put
Yeah,
them on my feet. I'm like, "Oh, damn, they feel kind of good." Um,
yeah,
I mean, I like it. Will it turn into like sales? Will like kids buy it? Will grown adults buy it? I don't know. That's to be seen. I guess it really depends on like Anthony Edwards' gameplay because that's huge, right? Anytime you can ball out, you can move a lot of units. But then also, it's only $120, which is
mhm.
very good. It's on the lower end in terms of like basketball shoes. It's not like a LeBron that costs $200. I don't think people are going to buy LeBrons like that. So I think it's affordable pricing, and I guess it really depends on like the colorways. But I think it'll do decent. Will it? I don't know. Will the kids like flock all the way to it and like ignore KDs and Bookers and John Morant's? I don't know.
Yeah. Do you feel like the space is starting to get very crowded? Um,
It is, but then it's also good too because competition is good.
yeah.
I'd rather have more variety than to just be like, oh yeah, all we got is KDs and LeBrons.
That's true. That's true. No, you make a good point. I think for me, I'm like I think my issue because I like to try out new sneakers, and now that like I don't play outdoor anymore like I did when I was younger. Because when I was younger, I'd be running through shoes. Shoes weren't gonna last me more than
Yeah.
a month or two, right? A couple months. But now I feel like man, I got these piling up, and I still haven't even worn through them. I'm like man, I want to try this. I want to try the Booker. I want to try this. I want to try that. So I feel like there's these kids maybe they're maybe it's a little bit different for them because their feet are growing and they're needing to get shoes like every year or maybe sometimes quicker than that. But I think it's like, man, I'm not even able to keep up with the buying of, even each
Yeah.
model, even though I want to try them out. So I was just curious what you thought there.
Well, it's not catered. Maybe it's not catered for you,
Yeah,
because
that's
like
true.
we're getting older. Like we don't really be hooping like that. It's just like
Yeah,
it's more of like I don't know, impulse buys if we really wanted it. It's almost like a hoarder's mentality. Like yo, that's the new thing. I gotta get it, right?
yeah,
When really like these kids, they actually like play basketball damn near every day. So they're
yeah,
burning through sneakers and they don't take care of it. So they'll trash it outdoors. They'll go indoors wear the same pair. So they'll put a lot of miles on it. So I
mm,
think like when we speak of like, hey, moving units, I think it's more towards geared towards the kids.
mhm.
Like, will they buy it? Will they ask their parents to buy it for them?
That
I think
makes it. Then answer me this: then who is the LeBron line for? Because I don't know a lot of kids
yeah,
who
at this
pay.
point, LeBron's a legacy line.
Mm,
Like it's kind of like Derrick Rose, right? So I think Derrick Rose contract with Adidas is as long as he's playing in the NBA, he gets a new signature model every year. That's
wow,
why you see like D Rose or like a D Rose 15 or whatnot. I don't know. I don't know what number he's up to, but like every year he gets a new signature model because that's in his contract.
man,
Whether
that's
it moves
crazy.
units or not, it's probably going straight to the outlets because ain't nobody buying D Roses, but he's getting a new signature shoe.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that was the whole thing. I think one of the like one of the reasons a lot of people think he didn't retire when he was kind of struggling a lot was because of that, because of that contract. And it's funny because if you think back at the time of that, you like now that looks crazy, but if you thought about it at the time, you'd be like, man, like Adidas got them one. You know what I mean? Like that's
Yeah,
um
yeah. I mean, it's unfortunate.
yeah, man. But that's there's so many players who are like that. I mean, who I think there's gonna be people who kind of look at his line the same way that they look at Penny minus the like legendary shoes, because it's like
Mm.
Penny has like, but it's like Penny was kind of the same way where he had like he would look like Magic, Magic Johnson with a dunk package. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah,
So I mean, all right. So before we get taper back into the basketball and then wrap it up, I wanted to ask you, what as far as the LeBron 21, what did you think when you got to, because you got to see that one in person too, right?
yeah.
In that
Mhm.
the blue colorway, I can't think of the name, uh,
Uh, abalone.
abalone, and then I think the Akoya colorway there too, or was it
Yeah,
just the abalone?
yeah, yeah. It
Yeah.
was both there.
Yeah, yeah. What were your thoughts on that sneaker? Just like outside price point aside, like tech, everything on it. What did you think?
To be honest, when the designers broke it down, I was really really impressed because like it's very easy to judge just off of the eye. You look at it, you see the price point, and then you automatically just make judgment. It's whack.
Yeah,
It's too pricey. But then when you like really understand it and like the designers like tell you all the tech and like the specific details that they asked LeBron and then they incorporate it into the shoes, then you get a better appreciation for the shoe. Like the whole shoe was based off of like LeBron's daughter, and like the whole shell thing is because it's to protect her, and like inside the oyster, right, is a little like pearl. So like you want to protect your foot with this I don't know, exoskeleton shell thing, right?
Mhm.
So that's why like there's a lot of like shell themes within the 21s. Like the abalone is like, I don't know if you know what an abalone is. You might have to Google it, but that shell is like looks just like that color,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
right? And then like inside is like where the specimen is living, I guess. So they have like embedded like knitting underneath the shell and like all these different things that are just factored in like zoom bags and air units and all that stuff.
Mhm.
All this stuff goes into LeBron sneakers, and like you get a better appreciation once you actually like get more details about the shoes instead of just a simple eye test on the price point and just how it looks.
No, no, I totally agree. On my petty in the post video for last week, I talked about the Koya colorway. I hope I'm not butchering that.
I think
Koya colorway, and I did. I started to research on it, and when they broke it down, it's like, oh, that makes sense, because when you look at the heel, you see how it's kind of enclosed in, and it has like the
Yeah.
little pearl
Mhm.
symbol, and that I love, especially too when you can incorporate your family into it, and he's such a family man when it comes to what he talks about and stuff. I love the storytelling. That's what I'm a sucker for. It. Sometimes it can be just clever marketing, but man, I'm a sucker for that. For that.
The crazy part is like everyone criticizes designers, but they don't understand like, yo, when you become a designer, you have to go through everything, materials, like the design of the shoe, the shape of the shoe, the tech of the shoe, and then also get feedback from the athletes. Like it's got to be able to hold up. It's just a lot of things that like people don't think about. They just quickly say like, yo, it's garbage.
Yeah, yeah,
That's it.
and that's kind of like what my whole idea when I make basketball content is like. The thing that made me start doing it is because I was tired of seeing the way that they made basketball like not entertainment and make it more like it was like life or death. And you have people who are at home. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm a passionate fan, but like we forget sometimes that we're supposed to be, entertaining. But a lot of what we do as content creators is educating and tricking people into educating them. So it's like, you when you make that fire content to break that down, that's why I enjoy it so much, because it's like, oh, this is cool, but it's also letting me know, hey, like there's thought put into this. It's not just, hey, we're trying to charge you $200 just for it to be $200. It's like, hey, no, this is LeBron James is in his 21st season. This is unprecedented territory. We have to do something special for him. So
Yeah.
I think you make some really good points there. But we're gonna go back into the game. We talked a little bit about it. But Edwin, what were your takeaways here from the Lakers? And if you have any takeaways for Nets too, he's a Nets fan, so he's wanting to get your insight too.
Yeah, for the Lakers, I think it's pretty clear. I mean, that starting five unit, we talked about it, right? Torian Prince, I wanted him in there. And after he had that terrible first game where he had like 5,008 minutes, he was spectacular tonight. And that the unit, look, the starting five unit was just perfect. Everyone was in double digits by the end of it. Rui came off the bench. He was a super sub. He had 19 points. And I really like the fact that even though, none of the starters played in the second half, the baby Lakers kind of got things done, right? Maxwell Lewis had that windmill dunk to like secure the lead, and then Demoy Hodge came in. He had his charge to kind of force a turnover, and I really like that. I think the Nets. I don't think they're going to win a lot of games this year, but they look like a fun young team. Like Spencer Dinwiddie is their oldest player, and he's 30 years old. So they're really going all in on the youth movement there. And even Ben Simmons, he looked pretty good. Like everyone's been talking about Ben and like giving up on him and stuff. But he had 10 points on 4 for 6 shooting in 14 minutes. You'll take that, especially right now. You'll take that confidence. He was shooting his free throws pretty well. I think he was like 4 for 5 or something like that, 2 for 4. So you'll take that, just a couple of free throw shots there. But so I think there's definitely optimism for the Nets in terms of like, hey, a young team that's going to try hard. They'll probably rack up some wins, especially late and early in the season. I think they'll be able to kind of surprise some people. And they gave their full effort here. They never gave up. They kept pushing, and they forced the Lakers to play until those final minutes. I definitely didn't want to see overtime basketball, so I'm glad either way that we didn't get to overtime in the preseason. But I think it was a good showing for both teams. I think Nets fans can be happy with how hard the youth played, and the Lakers can be happy with that first half.
Good point. We know our boy Tony here. He got to spend a little time with Demoy Hodge. You want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah. So this summer I spent a week in the British Virgin Islands just shadowing the Moy because apparently he hasn't been back home in like 3 years. So the last time he went back home was when I think like Missouri won some type of like championship or something like that. I forget. And then they threw him like a huge parade back then in college. So then this time around, he actually like is on the Lakers. So the island really like did it up really nice for him. So I was just shadowing him and like trying to like capture as much as I can so that I could piece together a nice like video that kind of shares his journey into the NBA. It's called Demoy's Dream. Um, so yeah, that was like quite an eye opening experience, and now I'm just like, that's my boy. Like even though the Nets are my team, I'm rooting for Demoy. I'm like, yo, if he can go, 5 for 5 from the field. I mean, he shot terrible tonight, but like he got some great stops. I gotta keep it real too.
Yeah.
I'm probably gonna text him afterwards, like, "Yo, man, hey, great stops, but we gotta be in the gym, hitting
Yeah,
those
yeah,
gym, right?
yeah, yeah.
Like, you
I
gotta hold him accountable. Like, he's got an uphill to climb, and that's clear. Like, because the roster on the Lakers is stacked. Like, trying to get those minutes, you better make the most of it. Like, you better be shooting 100%. Straight up.
Yeah.
yep, yep. It's
Yeah,
kind of
Hayes actually shot 100%, which was wild. He was 4 for 4 from the field in his 8 minutes, so he was killing it too. Yeah, but Demoy Hodge's got the two-way, so definitely he's gonna get his opportunity. He's gonna get his run. The roster is stacked like you said, but there's gonna be injuries. There's gonna be back-to-backs where players are like, hey, I'm not gonna play or whatever. That stuff's gonna happen. So I think he'll definitely get those chances, and he'll definitely get run in the G League regardless since he's on the two-way. And he didn't shoot well tonight, like you said. He did do the defense, but he played a lot better offensively. The first game of preseason.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a balance thing. I've even seen some Laker fans be like, "Hey, why can't he be a rotational player?" And like you said, I think it's an uphill to climb. But he did get the two-way contract, so they definitely see something in him for sure.
Yeah, and there's something innovating about young guys on teams. I think a lot of like those definitely seem like the guys who are gonna be like kind of like hyping up. You could tell by the energy that they brought. Like, he got the block and he's like, clapping, he's clapping, or like on the other end they get the dunk and they're like all celebrating like it's like we're playing in the first game of the playoffs. So I think there's opportunity for those guys to kind of be that like couple minutes out during those back-to-backs to be like the energy, like, man, I'm just happy to even be here too. And you can tell by their attitudes when they're interviewed, and their TikTok videos that they're really just kind of like just happy to be there, and that they love basketball. So I'm interested. I'm excited to see. I'm hoping that if they do get any minutes, it's not because of injury, it's because of back-to-backs or because of or they have a breakout season, like similar to the way AR did. But
Yeah,
yeah.
let me ask you guys this question. Knowing that Demoy is the first NBA player from the British Virgin Islands, right? So he basically has the entire country behind him. Do you think that helps him from like the front office end? Like, hey, yo, we got this kid who's got a whole country behind him. Like, does that weigh in on like, all right, maybe we should keep him, or is it just strictly like, nah, it's like how you perform on the court?
So you go ahead, and you want to give your answer first?
Yeah, for me, I think it only helps if you're good. So like if he's good, they might milk that and be like, you know what? Maybe we're gonna do a partnership. Maybe we'll do some endorsement. Let's utilize the fact that his story is interesting and let's incorporate it. Or that might be something where, like you said, like for content, maybe the backstage Lakers is like, you know what? We should do a special on Demoy Hodge. He's a two-way player. He's got an interesting story. Like, let's go with that angle. I don't think it necessarily like helps you with minutes because, like you said, at the end of the day, it's a business. You got to score, but it doesn't hurt. And definitely the best thing is you play well, and then we want to know the story. We did the same thing with Austin Reeves, right? We didn't know anything about him. Then we started finding out where he's from. We started finding out more about his personality, and we got into it. That only happened because he was kind of hooping and he was trying hard. If he wasn't, no one's going to care about where Oklahoma or any of that. They were like, whatever, all right, just get out of here. So I think it's a combination. He's got an interesting story that helps. Give him some good minutes. Put your heart in the court, and then people are going to start being more interested in what his life's like, and it's gonna start building momentum. So it can be a momentum builder, but he's got to produce for sure.
Yeah, I'm along the same lines. I think it depends on your franchise too. I know that like Washington, they were really doing that with Rui Hachimura. Rui Hachimura was not like an all-time great player, but they had, you think that the reason that they were doing those jerseys was because of Washington? No, it's because those were, the sakura flowers were, an homage, a very important flower, in Japan, right? So it's like if you're good enough to be there, or then, or your franchise is not like, trying to win a championship, because I'll be honest with you, they could, what's his name? Vanderbilt could just get that contract, and if he's unplayable, they're not going to play him this season because they have a legitimate chance to win a championship. So if he needs to go out, or if he needs to, Demoy Hodge is making threes and defending on that same level, and he's not. The Lakers are trying to win a championship. They have something. So for the Lakers, I think it's different, and at certain franchises is different because the Lakers' whole
a higher standard.
image is about excellence. About so like you might get someone like that on a practice squad. You might get if we Antetokounmpo got free agency coming up next year. You might have you might get an Antetokounmpo on your two-way squad, but he ain't. He's not going to be playing no minutes. He's going to be waving some towels. So that's kind of where I am at. I think it's the franchise. Depends on where your franchise is, what their goal is that season. Because some of them, they get the most money they make is from the profit share, than they do from like their own team actual success. So I think for those people, that's where it matters.
Okay.
But I think like you said, if you're on the Lakers, whether it's a two-way contract or anything, it's because they see something, and they have one of the best scouting departments in the NBA. So the fact that he's here and got a two-way contract is a a symbol that he has some potential to whether it be break into the lineup or just be an NBA player, which is like the ultimate goal, right?
Right.
Yeah.
I think that for the most part, I was really I said excited about what I saw from AD. I know he didn't play a lot, but just what I've seen, his energy that he's brought for the season. I want to make sure that I bring that out before we close up today. It's like what I've seen from AD, he looks locked in and focused. And LeBron James, it looked like he wasn't even trying out there, and he was doing some things. Like he was trying. You can see the effort when he needed to obviously swat the ball. He could have just let that go, right? But you could when I saw him hit the turnaround jump shot, I'm like, okay, there's still 82 games though that he has to be able to have those legs for. So we'll see. But he looked good today. What do you think about LeBron?
Yeah, I thought LeBron was great. Like you said, I've watched LeBron so much. I know when he's going through the motions, and he wasn't he wasn't playing like it was game 7 or something, but he was giving his full effort. He was closing out, he was getting back on defense, he was communicating. I saw one, I forgot what happened, but there's a layup the Lakers converted, and then afterwards he's pointing and he's getting back, he's pointing, hey, go there, and I'm like, and then when I saw that, I'm like, oh, he's taking it for real. He's like, this is, if I'm gonna play 10 minutes, it's gonna be 10 minutes for real. I remember one time he got mad at Max, and Max was like, my bad, and LeBron was like, yeah, I know it's your bad. And I'm like, okay, he's at that level, he's engaged enough, which makes sense. He said that he's gonna play maybe half of the game, so it's like, okay, the 3 games he plays, he's gonna be serious, and the 3 he doesn't play, well, obviously then hey, just chill. So I like that. I like the fact that they took it serious. That's all I wanted to see. Take it serious when you're there, and then rest the rest of the way. So I was cool with not playing the second half. I'm cool with him missing whatever games he misses. But if you're going to be out there, well, then be out there. So I like the fact that he was like that. AD, the same thing. We already know AD's, the best two-way player on the team. I don't know if he's number 1 over LeBron just in general, but he's definitely the best two-way player just because he's a freak of nature, and he's just a big, and he's also 10 years younger almost, or 10 years younger. So that's a huge gap to have. So yeah, I was very happy with all that. They gave the energy that you wanted, and yeah, like you said, they treated it more like the way a good NFL team treats that first quarter. Was okay, we're gonna actually run our stuff, and then after that, okay, you bring in the second string, third string, blah blah blah. So I like that approach better. So yeah, I was really happy with AD. I'm really happy with LeBron, and yeah, they got out of there healthy, and that's all that matters. Because like I said, it's a good, even no matter what, it's a good preseason. If when the season starts, you're like, oh, we're pretty much healthy, then you're like, okay, good. Because if someone's got a hamstring and stuff, D'Lo gets hurt, then I'm like, okay, well, who cares if they look good? Because now we're starting, behind. So that's the goal. Let's get to October 24th, and pretty much the injury report's empty. I'll be happy with that. We can figure the rest out later.
Boom, there you have it. Any closing thoughts on your Nets before we close out here?
Nah, man, none of these games mean anything, man. It's preseason.
Preseason, we're warming up.
We're just doing cardio right now.
I'm telling you, man.
Cardio.
Cam Thomas is legit, man. He's gonna be exciting to watch, man. He's gonna be exciting to watch. But
he hit 3 threes in a row. That was pretty fun. I was like, okay. And then they didn't sub them out. Classic preseason. If you would have subbed him out in a regular game, be like, what is wrong with you? He just hit 3 threes. You better not take him out the game. But they took him out. It was pretty fun. Reeves hit 2. He hit 3. It was a nice back and forth there. It was cool.
Man, I know. I wanted Reeves to take that next one too. I can't lie to you. I was like, no, don't
that weak layup. Yeah, he took that. Yeah.
yeah. But we'll call it on that one. It's funny. I'm on my phone, so I don't even know if I know how to end the stream from here. But we're gonna figure it out.
All right,
man. Well,
appreciate y'all, man.
Of course,
Oh
man.
yeah,
Thank
yeah.
you
Have
for
a good one,
coming through.
Tony.
Hey, we know it's late. We know it's late over there, man. So thank you for coming through, man. We'll talk soon.
All right,
All
I'm
right,
going to
brother.
sleep, man. All right, later,
All
y'all.
right, peace, man.
Later.
See you.
I gotta figure out how to end this, y'all. Let's see here.